Welcome to the Spotlight Roundup, presented to you by Psychedelic Spotlight, your trusted source for news, information, and unique perspectives surrounding the emerging sector of medicinal psychedelics. I'm Autumn Tripp, and it's the week of August 2nd, 2021. Ahead in this week's Roundup, a psychedelic VR meditation startup raises $11 million. Research involving MDMA makes significant strides. We catch you up on some of the latest news headlines from MindMed and Mindcure. And we introduce you to a company that is creating an online community for people who are interested in legally exploring or offering psychedelic-assisted therapy. Plus, we have your weekly industry update from the Psychedelic Investor. Now, let's get to your Roundup. Los Angeles-based digital psychedelic platform Tripp announced last month that the company has successfully raised $11 million through a Series A funding round. Plans for the company are to use the funds to help expand their virtual reality platform that immerses users into alternate realities designed to promote emotional well-being and transformative states through the use of psychedelic visuals and targeted sounds and interactions.
Tripp is currently available on all of the largest virtual reality platforms with an experience that is carefully designed to change the way that you feel. We use psychedelic imagery. We allow you to personalize the experience with your own images, and soon you'll see us get even more creative with that. We incorporate gameplay mechanics and mindfulness structures in very unique ways that play with awe and trying to trigger a state of a deeper connection to self, using some of the things that you can do only in VR, creating experiences you can't really have in the real world. We're very excited about this next phase of our company and our ability to have impact on people's emotional well-being.
Now in research news, the month of July proved to be a big month for the progress of MDMA-related research. First, the Center for Psychedelic Psychotherapy and Trauma Research in the Department of Psychiatry at Mount Sinai received a $2.1 million charitable contribution from the Stephen and Alexandra Cohen Foundation to help fund a large study comparing 2 and 3 sessions of MDMA-assisted psychotherapy in combat veterans diagnosed with PTSD. And then Numinus Wellness announced late last month that the company received clearance from Health Canada to conduct a single-arm, open-label safety and feasibility study evaluating MDMA-assisted psychotherapy for PTSD. Up to this point, Numinus research has advanced through the pre-implementation stage at the Vancouver Clinic. Now, with Health Canada's blessing, the company has received the required federal regulatory approval to move into the final stages of training staff, importing medication, and obtaining ethical approval to allow the recruitment of participants according to COVID-19 protocols. And now, here to provide us with his psychedelic industry-related public market update and insight is James Halifax, host of the Psychedelic Investor podcast show on YouTube.
Hi. I'm James from the Psychedelic Investor. Today, we're discussing a new era of investing in psychedelics. When this nascent field was born last year, there wasn't much institutional interest. Companies racing to treat maladies such as addiction and PTSD with psychedelics were relegated to third-tier markets like the OTC, hampering their ability to raise huge amounts of money needed to fund their clinical trials. But as the science being done by these companies is becoming self-evident, that is beginning to change. On July 29th, Field Trip began trading on the NASDAQ, joining 5 others. Not to be outdone, Psychable announced that they'll be trading on the New York Stock Exchange beginning around August 5th, meaning we now have 9 psychedelic companies on major exchanges. This will cause an acceleration of clinical research, which, if successful, should drive their valuations. One such clinical trial was recently launched by MindMed studying DMT, perhaps the most mysterious psychedelic. DMT is fast-acting and extremely powerful, often causing visions of entering another dimension and interacting with autonomous beings. Despite being used in religious ceremonies for centuries and large amounts of anecdotal evidence suggesting that those who consume it are mentally and physically healthier, little scientific study has been done on the substance. This makes MindMed's phase 1 trial, giving 30 healthy volunteers varying doses of DMT to study the physiological and psychological effects, exciting. It will be years before we understand the potential of DMT, but as MindMed joins small pharma in studying it, we become one step closer. Enjoy the rest of the episode.
To continue to get more unique perspective related to the growing public market sector within the medicinal psychedelic industry, make sure you subscribe to the Psychedelic Investor on YouTube. Also, be sure to sign up for the Psych Stock Report newsletter presented by Psychedelic Spotlight to get your weekly industry business roundup delivered to your inbox every Friday. In more industry news, MindMed announced late last month the formation of a new partnership with Datavant Inc., a leader in helping healthcare organizations safely connect their data. Through this partnership, MindMed will use Datavant's privacy-protecting technology to link MindMed's clinical trial data to external data from both clinical and real-world sources, and use Datavant's linking technology across various stages of the drug life cycle, including discovery, clinical development, and commercialization.
What this Datavant partnership enables us to do is to take a deeper and broader look at the individuals that we are studying in our trials and come to try to understand their disease in all of its rich complexity, not just in the small snapshot of shallow data that we're able to get in clinical trials.
In other related industry news, Mindcure Health, a leader in advanced proprietary technology and research for psychedelics, last month announced that the company has filed provisional patent applications with the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office for innovative processes for synthesizing ibogaine. Each of the 2 chemical synthesis routes that have been included in their provisional patent applications are currently being assessed to determine which will be selected first for further development.
With the manufacturing of ibogaine and patenting the synthesis process, what we're accomplishing is providing, of course, investors with a clear line of sight around IP protection and valuations, that kind of thing. The second piece is, because we patented the synthesis route, what this means is no one else can synthesize it the way that we have, and we think it's the most cost-effective route that we were able to find. And we, in fact, patented 2 routes. And then the third piece is this idea around exploring intermediaries and analogs. When you go through these patenting routes, you find other options for potential outcomes and more IP derivation.
And finally, this week we take some time to spotlight Psycable, a company that has developed an online platform for psychedelic healthcare. The platform, which launched in April, offers thousands of listings for psychedelic practitioners across the US, Canada, and international locations, and helping to provide the most comprehensive and trusted online resources for those curious in exploring the healing power of psychedelics with medically and peer-reviewed practitioners. Here's what Psychable CEO and co-founder Jamie Sekou had to say about her own life-altering experience with ayahuasca that ultimately served as a catalyst for launching Psychable during her recent visit to the Psychedelic Spotlight podcast.
It saved my life. And not only did it save my life, it gave me a sense of purpose that in everything that I do is to be in service, particularly to this space. It's the reason I'm still here today. It's the reason I'm still alive. And since doing ayahuasca for the first time, I haven't been depressed since. And this is something that I have struggled with pretty much all my life. So that's my story. And this is really what this medicine has helped bring me to this point where I just realized that this is what I want to be doing for the rest of my life. And so I've been really exploring this space for the past 5 years and thinking how I can add value and really devote and dedicate my life to this work and to share with others.
To listen to the full podcast with Jamie and hear more about the Psychable platform, head on over to the podcast page on the Psychedelic Spotlight website. And that's it for this week's Spotlight Roundup, presented to you by Psychedelic Spotlight, your trusted source for news, information, and unique perspectives surrounding the emerging sector of medicinal psychedelics. For more on the stories covered here, visit psychedelicspotlight.com. And be sure to check out the Psychedelic Spotlight podcast, where Global Track Solutions CEO David Flores interviews luminaries across the field of psychedelics and related industries. Subscribe at Apple Podcasts or wherever you stream. Thanks for watching. Until next time, I'm Autumn Tribbitt. Be well.